And we are back on Chicano Tube. I appreciate everyone that's tapping in. Thank you guys again. It's your boy, Chicano Mike. It's Wednesday, so you already know what it is. Wednesday Open Talk. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation about it. And hopefully, in having this conversation, we'll come out with more understanding, more knowledge, more uh, knowledgeable in this topic that we're going to talk about right now. Let me go ahead and get the chat up. Give me 1 second, you guys. Don't forget to hit that like button. Everyone that's trickling in on Wednesday night, appreciate you. All right, here it is. Let me get that chat up, you guys. Give me 1 second. Thank you, everyone that's tuning in the comment section. The lines are going to be open. They're going to be open right now. Not yet. We're going to dive into it. Because again, I promised you, I said on Chicano Tube, no, we're not the average Joe. We're going to go ahead and talk about things that are difficult to talk about, but we're going to elevate our thinking. That's what we're going to do. Let me get this up, the chat, really quick. Thank you guys that are coming in the comment section already. Okay. Alfonso Gomez, I appreciate it. He says, let's go. Look at Alfonso Gomez came in full of energy, cabron. Yeah, that's what I need, man. I need someone to feed me back that energy. I reciprocate it right back to you guys. So I need that energy right there. Sea Dog and Cooper Show, I appreciate you. Daytime Zombie Gaming, he said, I'm tapping in. It's Wednesday night, and we're going to talk about exactly what the title of the video is about. It's something that, it's a sensitive topic because, again, it involves children. Anything that involves children is a highly sensitive topic. You don't just have to be a parent. No, 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 no. It's in general. If you have some kind of humanity inside of you, then this topic right here hits close to home and hits you right in that corazon. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it all down and then open up the phone lines and have a good conversation. I want to have some good dialogue about this and what you guys think. It's not just a one-man show. I'm not in here for myself, cabrones. I'm in here for you guys every single Wednesday night. I'm still going to put up that schedule that lets you know when the show is going to be conducted. I know you guys want to know that. That's coming real, real soon. I want to give a couple shouts out before we really start diving and getting into it. First off, to the executive producer. Let me go ahead and give a shout out to the executive producer. Shout out to the beautiful, smoking, sexy, hot wife, the executive producer of Chicano Tube. If it wasn't for her, you wouldn't see everything that you're seeing all around me. Okay, that comes from the executive producer, the beautiful, smoking, sexy, hot wife who's coming up on birthday week. Speaking of that, we have another birthday as well. Brenda Love, I want to give a shout out before we start diving into these topics, okay? I want to give a shout out over to Brenda Love as well. Brenda Love, God bless you. Happy birthday, amiga. If you follow her, like I follow her on IG, you know Brenda Love is just living her best life. And that's what I wish for all of my subscribers, no matter what it is. Recuérdense, las pinches cosas materias no son nada. No son nada. Son cosas pasajeras. The truth of the matter is, be humble because we're all going to go into the same hole inside that ground. Be humble. Okay. So it's not about that. It's about what you have here. Here's the fulfillment. Here's where you need to have the satisfaction is inside your corazon. Okay. Not what social media says we should be, because not everyone can afford a pinchy extravagant island vacation, okay? So let's not get that twisted, all right? That's where social media can sometimes cause self-esteem issues, and then it causes issues or one thing or another. But anyways, I'm digressing. It's birthday week for two people. I want to give a shout out to Brenda, La Chicana Love. Happy birthday, amiga. And also to the beautiful, smoking, sexy, hot wife, the executive producer. Happy birthday. It's early. It's early. I know that she's a Cancer, so it's coming up on the first week of July, but happy birthday. I want to just get that right there up front to you guys. Appreciate you guys, Brenda, and appreciate the executive producer. And also to the second shout out I want to give is to my brother from another mother, Chicago Dumb. Okay, Chicago, I need you guys to do me a favor. Get on YouTube, Landia, like you are right now. And when you get a chance, search 2 words, I believe, no, it's all one word. Chicago Dumb. That's my brother from another mother right there. I need you to run up his numbers. Por favor. I need you to go over there and run up his subscribers and run up his numbers. He's already in studio. He calls it 3.0. It's 3.0, the one that I'm in right now, because he helped me build the very first one. I don't know if you guys remember that very, very first one, right? When I used to play like the NFL. Remember, I streamed the NFL Sunday Ticket like one time without knowing. She copyrighted the hell out of me. YouTube sent me like 5 strikes a la chingada. I never did that again. And in the second studio, which was the first DJ studio that I know you guys really appreciate, and of course 3.0 studio. So shout out to you, Chicago Dumb. Do me a favor and go run up my boys' subscribers over there before we get into this topic. OG, triple OG's in the house. That's what's up. Who runs the YouTube Yarda for sure. To my new subscribers, you might trip out when I say that. Who runs the YouTube Yarda? What is that? What is Mikey talking about? I'm going to speak in layman terms, in general terms. You know, there's what I refer to as the YouTube streets, and then, you know, the real streets. So in the YouTube streets, that's what I refer to when I say YouTube Yarda. And there's one person that got the keys, and he'll always have the keys until he passes the keys on. And that's OG, triple OG right there. Shout out to you, my boy. Mike Wallace, Alfonso Gomez. Trying to read those comments. They go by fast. Making the brown. Chicano too. That's right. Making the brown rag. Yeah, well, you could take it that way too también. It's really not any bandana related, because really what I'm trying to break down is, of course, the stereotype. What is a Chicano? What is a Chicano? Let me go ahead and start with that right there. Well, a lot of people think a Chicano is this is unfortunate. But a lot of people think a Chicano is dressing cholo and jumping in your ranfla. Okay, that's, to me, not a Chicano. I'll tell you what a Chicano is. Of course, I've said this again, but let me try to give it to you in a different context, because I don't want to keep repeating myself and say, what's a Chicano again, and again, but I'd rather give it to you maybe in another angle and in a different context, okay? A Chicano is the manifesting of my parents visualizing a dream for their children that was better than them, and they realize that the opportunity, in order to give their children the best opportunity, they had to go north. They had to go north. They had to go to somewhere that was going to be more promising for their children. That way they can provide a better future, whether they risk their life. Believe it. And we're going to get to what we're talking about tonight, kids in cages. We're going to talk about this, okay? Kids in cages. It's a great segue. That's what Chicano is. That's why I want to be on this platform and talk about the pertinent issues that affect you and affect me. Of course, it's not just one culture, all cultures, because I want all cultures to be as proud as I am of mine, which I believe is the best culture, but you don't misinterpret me when I say that. I want you guys to have identity. That's a Chicano. The Mexicano parents that were in Mexico and said, I know I got to go north to provide my children a better future. That's a Chicano. You know, that's a little bit of a different explanation, right? Let's talk about then. Getting a little bit closer now, we're talking about the border. This is something that has to do in the political realm. But again, as I alluded to when I started this video off, this refers to children. And this is something that's a very, very serious topic. And it was about in the 2000, I believe it was late 2000s to early 2010s. That was the era that the institutions that were processing migrants across the border, they basically, they just needed more institutions. Let's just say that. They needed more room. They needed more bed space. And when this situation occurred, no one thought about back then, no one was using kids in cages as a political pawn. But now, kids in cages is a political pawn. You may not understand me when I say kids in cages are a political pawn. You may be like, but Mike, what do you mean? They're kids. It's a real life situation. It's a horrific, tragic situation. But this is real life. And back then, it wasn't a political pawn. Now it's a political pawn. But I don't want to digress, okay? Back when these cages were built under administration, we know who it was. He ran for 2 terms. He was the first African American president of the United States, okay? And the first African American, this is just historical facts, the first African American of the United States president. I didn't say that, right? First African American president of the United States, Barack Obama. He built these, and no one raised a hair or raised a finger about it because the situation down at the border is a very serious situation, okay? These numbers of and we'll talk about all facets of areas of people that come to the north. You know what I mean? People that want to, cross that border to seek a better life. We'll talk about all of it because it's not just all children. How did the children get there is another question. How did the children get there is another question. Who took the children there? Okay, is another question. Because there's many, many newspaper articles and stories of complete trains that were pulled over in the country of Mexico. Complete trains. I don't know how much they hold, of nothing but children. And they weren't with their parents. They weren't with their parents. So what is that situation about? We're going to talk about that too, okay? But anyways, let's go back to the border, okay? Kids in cages. We're coming up on a political year. Realize it. Understand it. When they're about to vote for las pinches elections, okay, that's when the shit gets haywire. You talk about chaos? No. I think we've seen this already, right? It's like if we don't see it, we get okey-doked again, and it's going to come right back on us really, really quick. Kicking it with Being Loc. I see you. Gerard Estrada, Simple. Daytime Zombie Gaming, I appreciate you. Fonso Gomez, Brown Pride Clothing, Burqueños in the casa. Miss Chicano Tube. Beautiful Smoky Sexy Hot Wife. Tierra Caliente, Fast and Furious. That's right. If we don't realize that every time van a meter otro presidente or presidenta, hey, a lot of people want to see a presidenta, that the chaos kicks off in las calles. You've seen it, is exactly what I was alluding to, right? The reason that they don't want you to go y votar en persona. The reason they try to suppress that. The sparking of all these issues, which, remember, I did a video yesterday. What was the video? I dropped it this morning. I did it yesterday. That's right. And I think I dropped it this morning. On that harassment case. They will get a case like that harassment case. Okay. Pinchi Peter Pick-and-Pull. Okay. Pinchi Peter Pick-and-Pull. That, I mean, maybe I didn't say this in the video, but he sounded a little bit like a J-Cat. I don't, like my people that aren't from the calles don't understand that term, J-Cat. But anyway, something wasn't all there. There was a couple of loose screws. I mean, the peachy guy was Peter Pick-and-Pull. He's marching around. This is documented, I believe, allegedly. This is documented that he's marching around like a pinchy Nazi doing Nazi salutes. I mean, if the guy's either from the fucking somewhere where it's just, Racetown, USA, or he's missing a couple screws, or something's off right there, right? But anyways, they get those kind of stories coming up on the elections, like the kids in the cages. And they will only use that as a political pawn for me and for you to rally the troops and get behind a politician. It's this politician now is going to be the savior of the world. it's that politician over here. No, no, no. And then they'll start arguing it on social media. No, no, you got to get behind this person. If you don't get behind her, you're this. If you don't get behind him, you're that. The chaos ensues, and we don't even know that. Well, some of us should know that everything behind this cycle, cada 4 años, it set a precedence in 2020. That set a precedence for shit that, oh my gosh. And what did it ultimately do? Burn up our phones with media, burn up the conversations across the thing where people were talking about it. Of course, YouTubers are going to talk about it because we're content creators. We got to talk about it. Hold on, you guys. I want you guys to realize these cycles, okay? And then we're going to go back to kids in cages right now. Now, we haven't left that topic. I just feel like if there's something I want to expound on, then I want to get this and break this down before the thought leaves me and break this down on these political cycles that are coming up. We're going to see now the kids that are sitting as I speak to you right now inside of cages. But what the newspapers will do, though, is they'll blame it on a politician. Here we go. So it's this, throw it on him, he's the bad guy. Throw it on her, he's the bad guy. Okay, you're going to hear me say this, and we'll talk about this in a whole nother video or a whole nother open talk, I don't know yet, about the level of politics and how we're supposed to believe that politics make the world go round. Do you really believe that? I know that's not the truth. The cats that really make the world go round, some people have referred to as this, some people have referred to them that, the 100 families, and some other words that I just won't say, just a little bit because we know who the boss is, but we'll get to it. They make the world go round, and they make it for us to seem that our local politician will come in, be sinless, live a sinless life, and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean. No disrespect there. No, that's not the answer. That is not the answer. The answer, though, is raising our voices because now we do have the power of the internet. If the gente can mobilize together and not look at any differences, not look at any divisions, not look at you're this, you're that, etc., but mobilize together, then there's a reckoning. Because I tell you what, the gente make up a large percentile, okay, of the demographic, okay, here in Califas, for sure here in California, okay, but it goes all the way to, what was formerly Mexico, the Rio Grande La Línea and the territory that they lost, that sweeping, imagine, is gente, is raza, is Chicanos, and even, of course, across the 50 states. It's not just there on the Southwest, across the. If we can mobilize, get together, we could make more of a difference, have more of a voice and more of an impact than a pinchy politician. Because the politician, most of them, let me just keep it real with you, are rhinos. It don't matter what it is. It's red or blue. It don't matter, okay? Crips and Bloods, yeah, they do that too. It don't matter. It's red and blue, and some people even go off that deep end. I can't believe it, They go off that deep end. There's rhinos on both sides. Yes, there is. And when they promise you something, it has to go up every single level and every single chain of approval. Somewhere or another, se va a estancar, and it's not gonna happen. But now I believe with the power of technology, we can go out there and we can definitely make it happen, but we got to mobilize together. These kids in cages, one of the most popular photos that was circulating was estaban en el suelo. Los niños estaban en el suelo and they wrapped them in aluminio. And that was a very famous Associated Press image. Getty Images or AP image that blasted nationally, went straight across the thing. They're laying there. And the politicians took a field day. Now, there was a politician, I'm going to go ahead and put her name out here. by the name of AOC, a politician by the name of AOC. And she, for as a publicity stunt, this is as a publicity stunt, okay? What's right is right. Just understand this. What's right is right, gente, and what's wrong is wrong, okay? What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. So that's how I call it. I don't see red. I don't see blue. I see what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, period. I see it takes just human common sense to know that the way we house children that are coming across that border has to be in that condition. But again, as a political pawn, any side could use it. Hey, you know what? He built them. And then the other side says, no, 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 no. Okay, Obama built them, but it was Trump's policies that separated them. That was one of the biggest arguments that I heard, right? That all of a sudden the policies were radically changed. No, let me take that back. There was one. Okay. President Trump, what he did was he put a zero tolerance policy for coming across the border without going through the process. He did do that. But the laws are the laws, right? And the laws really don't affect what people are going to do. Let's just keep that real. The laws aren't going to change what people are going to do. For as an example, you got Chicago. Okay, shout out Chicago Dumb, my boy. So go ahead and subscribe over to that channel right there, my brother from another mother, Chicago Dumb. You got Chicago with some of the hardest gun laws in the country. I mean, strictest gun laws. Prohibiting them, banning them, zero tolerance, and you name what the strictest are, as opposed to the opposite that are under the Constitution that says we have the right to bear arms. That would be the exact opposite of what they're trying to enforce there as a philosophy that is going to deter criminals from committing crimes. That ain't gonna happen. Matter of fact, Ice-T said this best. Ice-T said, he said in a tweet the other day, or in World Star Hip Hop, they came out on IG and they took a screenshot of it, or they put it in a little caption and shit like that. I think it was his Twitter, but they put a little layout and they reposted it. And Ice-T said this. He said, okay, I'm gonna say it just like he said, if an N-word, okay, I'm not gonna say that word, okay, is coming for you and you have security, he'll wreck your security if he has to get you. That's true. So it don't matter what the laws are. I mean, the laws are the laws. People are still gonna come. So President Trump, he enacted that. It was zero tolerance. There wasn't, because he got, after they shut down the wall, after they shut down the building of the wall, his policy was going to coincide with him. I believe they were anticipating another term. They're anticipating to run another 4 years, and that got deterred. Now, we could talk about that a whole nother thing. Now, let's talk about this real quick. I am going to digress, but it's still in the same realm. It's DACA. It's DACA and the Dreamers, right? Now, people don't talk about this enough. There was a moment where, let me just tell it like it is, okay? That is another thing that politicians use as political pawns. Oh, yeah. Good old DACA. Now, DACA is, what is DACA, okay? You have people that have come here, migrants, okay, in the United States. And there's several circumstances. They're countless, just like there is countless circumstances of the kids and how the kids came to cross that border. And most of them end up inside those facilities, those detention facilities where they're being held, or cages. DACA. When President Trump got inside office and he said, and este cabrón, again, I'm not I've never been into politics, you guys. Okay, I grew up on the streets. Okay, I grew up in the calles. As soon as I got a taste of the streets, I didn't even want to go back to school, unfortunately. But that's just part of my story. And I wanted to get a PhD in the streets, and I did what I did as a reckless chavalito. Okay, so I never grew up influenced, went to colleges, because when you go to colleges, each college is going to probably plant their flag on red or blue, and those rallies are going to sway you to go in that direction. I never was groomed, is what I'm trying to say. So when you hear me, Chicano Mike, talking politics, okay, I want you to know that. That's my starting point. My starting point is not on this side. My starting point is not on that side. My starting point is what's best for the people. My starting point is what's in the best interest and what's going to help progress the people and push the people forward in advancement. That's where my starting point is. It's not red, it's not blue. I just don't want to get people to get it twisted, because all of a sudden someone tunes in right now on the live feed and they're like, he's talking about President Trump. Yeah, I am, because I'm talking history. When President Trump was in office, cabrones, I call him Uncle Trump, right? Because the way I knew Uncle Trump was before was he was the hotel billionaire that was hosting all the mega fights from Mike Tyson. Let's just keep that real, okay? Ain't no one hated. Everyone took a picture with him back in those days, and he was the same cabron. Same cabron, same talk, same smile. Of course, I don't know the man. It's not like me or you can ever be 100 on anybody. We can never be 100 on everybody. We just don't know behind this screen or in the metaverse who everyone is, of course. So, especially if we just know about him online or whatever. But anyways, I seen President Trump. That's how I seen him. He got in office. That was crazy. Let me just say that. He got in office. Cultura Cafes in the Casa Tierra Caliente Machete. My bad. Here we go. President Trump, he got in office, right? And when President Trump got in office, there was a bill put on the table, okay? Now, I believe there's good bills and I believe there's bad bills. Which are the bad bills that politicians end up putting? Which are the bad bills? The bad bills are the ones that, you know what? They're like, hey, we need more money in our pockets. And what's the biggest scam in the world? What's the biggest scam in the world? Let's propose another bill. You don't believe me? That's really what happens. That's really what happens, you guys. That's how it happens. So those are bad bills, but there's also good bills. I believe there was a good bill put on the ballot. Again, people are going to come in right now, get it twisted and all that. It's not red or blue when it comes to politics. It's about the people. It's about what's right. It's about having a conscience. It's about being human, knowing what's right. You just know what it is. And just like if you're a little víbora. Where my little 10 G's at? Julio Solorio, I see you, my boy. Cecil Collier, Big Puppet, I see you, my boy. Harvey Greensman, that's right. Chicago Dumb, he said audio. Let me see. Hit a one if you can hear me, you guys, before I keep going. Chicago Dumb. Hit a one if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Hit a one, gente. I'm not going to move. Hit a one if you can hear me, please. Please hit a one. The audio is low, he says. The audio is low. My. How about now? Can you hear me now? Hit a one. Can you hear me? People can hear me? Sounds perfect? Okay. I turned it up a little bit. I did. I really did. Okay. There was a measure that was put on the table. Who put it? President Trump. I believe this was a good proposition. He said this. He said, look, this is what I want to do. I want to fix this problem right here on the southern border. I want to be one. This is the cabron's words. Of course, you're not going to see him on the TV, because if you didn't know, okay, the fucking TV was just kind of one way And it is what it is because the TV is also it's propaganda. It's telling you someone's vision. Television. Okay. You didn't hear about this. It didn't get too much publicity, but I'm going to tell you right now. He said, President Trump did, I want to fix this whole thing at the southern border. Kids in cages. It's outrageous. The way the processing is, the people coming up, we can do this, he said. This guy is into building shit. He's into building buildings, infrastructures. He could have built compounds. He could have built lightweight hotels. He could have built lightweight hotels. That way no one's saying cages. And these processing centers are more like clubhouses. Let's say that. Offering as resources that people say, okay, thank you for all the ones. I just want to make sure, because that's the tech man right there. When he says check your tech, I got to check my tech. It could have been like a country club. I believe he could have did something like that. Porque el güey sabe fucking build. He's a builder, hotel billionaire. He knows how to build shit. He said they came to him to build the contract on the post office that's right across the street from the White House. On top of towers and skyscrapers and all that. So he was a big wig until he said, you know what, let me vote for politics. And wait a second. All of a sudden, he's going to run for politics. And all of a sudden, he's throwing a monkey wrench in the machine. That's what I thought. But anyways, I didn't know shit. I mean, I didn't start getting into politics until that pinchy way. He raised my eyebrow to politics, I guess so. So he came up with something, right? He said this. He said, look, this problem over here at the southern border. I want to be one and done with it. Fund me una pared. Some people will get mad at that. Comment below. Some people think that that's barbaric. Some people think that's medieval. I could see that. A wall, okay, like the pinche wall of China, something like that. You could take it how you want to. This was the whole bill, is all I'm presenting to you. He said, I want to build a wall. And then, if in return, if you fund me building this wall and many more other little, like I said, detention facilities were going to be included in that bill because it was a large chunk of money. This is to be one in the, see, when you're a businessman, you don't got time for bullshit. You want straight communication. Get straight to the point. What is it? What's the problem? I don't want to hear add-ons to the problem. Because a lot of times, when we're kind of low-level intelligence or low-level IQ, when we talk about, when there's a problem at hand, no one talks solution. Everyone just adds on to the problem. That motherfucker did this. He did that. He did this. Whoop-de-whoop. What-de-what. We could have did this. We could have did that. We could have. We should have, and all that. And there's doers that get problem solved. Give me solutions. If you're going to give me a problem, right behind the problem, I want you to give me 3 solutions on how to fix it. That's how we should be thinking. That's how this cabron thought. So anyways, again, people are going to tune in right now. Oh, the fucking Trump channel. The Trump channel. What fucking Trump channel, man? This is the Chicano channel. I'm going to let you know what's good for the gente, period. So that's what I'm talking about right now. His bill was going to be great for the gente. Let me talk about it. To solve the problem with kids in cages at the southern border once and for all. President Trump on his first term, and I know he was anticipating that second term he was going to win. That would have been probably the completion. I think they only got a quarter, two-thirds of it done, this project right here. And I heard that all the customs agents and everything were happy because, now they don't got to deal with all the firefights coming across the border. I have a cousin. I'm going to digress, but let me get back to the DACA bill. Remind me about the DACA bill. My wife will. I'm going to digress, but honey, remind me about the DACA bill, please. If I go on another, if I don't remember what I talked about, honey, remind me, DACA bill. I have a cousin. He was a customs agent. About 4 years ago? About 3 or 4 years ago, him and 2 of his partners were right there patrolling the southern border. And this is my cousin. He's Chicano. Es Chicano. He's patrolling the southern border with two of his partners. They came across two or three people. Two or three shooters came straight across with a group of people. Usually, that insinuates it was someone they were trying to bring, someone they were trying to smuggle, or something they were trying to bring, or something they were trying to smuggle. He caught 3 bullets clean through his body, 223, long round ammunition, military type fucking bullets, machine gun bullets. 3 of them, thank the Lord above, gracias only a Dios, that went clean through his body. And a month and a half later, he was still, gracias a Dios, able to dance at his only sister's wedding, a special dance with 3 bullets that went through his body. He would have appreciated some kind of barrier from the cartels that came across, and they're coming across aggressively, just tearing it up. They're lighting it up. Whatever they got to do to clear it, they're going to clear everyone. But anyways, shout out to Tommy. Shout out to my cousin Tommy. DACA bill. President Trump said, I want to be one and done with this shit. I don't want to hear about this anymore. Do you want solutions? I'm going to tell you what it is. Pass this bill. And if you pass this bill, he said like this, President Trump said, you are telling me that there's 800,000 in Dreamers in the DACA program. You guys, those are your numbers. You're telling me that. He goes, my numbers say it's more around 1.5 million with a little bit of buffer room, but under 2 million that are under DACA. So sometimes they just don't register all the numbers correctly as they should. I don't know why. It just is what it is. He's saying, if you pass this bill right here, what I'll do is not the 800 that you guys tell me, but the 1.5 million. Tonight, you'll hear more pinches parties across the country than ever before. Tonight is going to be the biggest pinches fiestas because I won't start a pathway or grant a pathway for citizenship for them. No. I'm not just going to do that. I'm not just going to start a pathway or get them on a pathway to citizenship. Tonight, if you approve this bill for border security, there will be 1.5 million house parties because I will make them all citizens. That's some real shit. That's some real shit. Trump put that out there. Did you know that? Did you know he put that out there? He put a bill out there that would have been one and done with the whole border crisis, or what's now used for politics as kids in cages and DACA. Forever this will be, I believe, a political tool because now it's sparked it. Now it's fucking got its wheels turning and people know they'll plant the flag and the people will eat it up. They'll hang their flag on there. They're fighting on Facebook about it. They're fighting on... My man Dino, you're live on the conversation with Chicano Mac, man. What you got to say?
Hey, man, I'm honored that you took my call, Mikey. God bless you, your family. I love the direction of the channel. I love how it looks. And I just want to get on here, man, and salute you for what you're doing, Mike. To be honest, just be ready for the backlash. Thank you for what you're standing for. And everybody right now that's listening to this, you got to be an open-minded person, a free thinker, and we support free speech. But, Mikey, I just want to call in and tell you, man, thank you for what you're doing. You make a lot of sense. And to people out there that don't want the border or whatever, you got to think about it. Would you let anybody just come into your house, open all your windows, open all your doors at night, and let anyone just come into your house unannounced? And to be honest, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, human sex trafficking is one of the worst things that happens in America. And that's why we need a strong border. A nation is not a nation without borders, without laws, without law enforcement. Say what you want about them, but guys, we need them. We need laws to be enforced, and we need a strong border due to the human sex trafficking situation. Go ahead, brother.
I appreciate you, Nino. Thank you for calling in.
God bless you, Mikey.
Talk to you soon. My bad. You guys actually had the boombox off to the side. I'm trying to do a little bit of a makeshift live, right? I had the boombox off to the side, and I had it hooked up to Bluetooth. And my brother Nino, he could have been on the Bluetooth, but quien sabe qué pasó. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? We roll with the punches. But he said, get ready for the backlash. Oh, I want people to think out of the box. That's what I want to do. Period. Again, I laid the foundation out already, so I believe if you're tuned in, you know where I'm coming from. Exactly what I'm coming from. Anyways, the problem could have been done if they just would have funded it. It wasn't a pathway to citizenship. It was complete citizenship. Complete citizenship. And it didn't happen. Why? Because we'll talk about it in 4 years. And then we'll talk about it in another 4 years. And then we're going to talk about it in another 4 years. And then you got people like AOC who just goes down there, grabs on one of the fences of the pinche cage, AOC, turns to the right, turns to the photographer, y hace esta pinche cara. Man, I hope they don't freeze frame that and put that on YouTube on another fucking thumbnail. Because she knows, hey, it's time for that annual I give a shit photo in front of kids. But and then of course here comes politics, right? Well, who separated them? Who did that? A lot of these kids are trafficked. A lot of these kids are smuggled. A lot of these kids are sold. This is the reality. Life is, la pinche vida is fría, cabrones. You know, if you think it's a bed of roses, that's why I'm so into teaching, you know, your boys to be boys and your girls to be girls and make them strong and make them confident and teach them culture and teach them identity. I ran into a youngster the other day. Shout out to him, Cyclone. He knows who he is. And it was at the post office. And I seen the youngster and he was like, hey, you know, on YouTube, you know, and all that. And I was like, yeah, man, it's all good. How's the family? First thing I told him. I said, hey, Cyclone, how's the family, brother? He goes, the family's good. I said, that's good, man. How are you, brother? He said, oh, I'm good too, Mikey. I'm good. Hey, man, I see you. You're around and everything. That's cool, man. I said, I'm not going anywhere. Where am I going? You know what I mean? This is, if I pillaged and ravaged and did all my bullshit over here, then my little small seed that I'm going to give back is to my community. You know, right here is where we're going to be at. And right here, some people were commenting, why'd you change the name of the channel? I said, because we're coming from Salinas, cabron. We're coming from Salinas. So you already know them Chicanos from Salinas, we're fucking gritty. We get it. We take it. We get it. You know what I mean? We're strong. We're confident. You know, and I see that youngster, like that youngster Cyclone I was talking about. It gives me hope for the future. I can see a young man right here who's proud of his Chicanismo, who's strong, who's intelligent. I know that the future's in good hand. They ain't all just Edgars in the future. But anyways, I digressed. That DACA bill, they didn't want 1.5 million people done. So again, they're always going to have to be detention facilities. Yes, there is. They're always going to come. But what if we would have finished that? And because I tell you what, in Mexicali, shout out to everyone from Chicali, right? All the cachanillas out there. Shout out to all the cachanillas from Mexicali, right? My wife's parents are from Mexicali. Ever since we got married, coming up on 20 years, cabrón, in January, right on my birthday. January 14th, coming up in 2024, is going to be 20 years married with a beautiful, smoking, sexy, hot wife. I can't wait, man. We're going to celebrate. Primeramente Dios. You know, same thing I tell my mom every day when I see her at the grave. I said, si Dios presta vida, I'll come back and see you tomorrow. But it's all him. It's all God anyways. So every 4 years it was going to be a political pawn, and it will still be, and no one will fix it. And they will get on Facebook and blast about it. They'll get on Instagram and blast about it. And I have this camp and I have that camp. I'll tell you what, I have no camp. You know what I mean? There's so much information now. Guess what camp I'm in? I'm in the critical thinking camp. I'm not into swallowing everything that gets thrown at me and believing everything at first sight, especially if it's, some of us, a lot of people just, on social media, they just share shit. And you don't even know what pinchy website it is, right? Look at this person, that, or some people even they'll put something about Bigfoot. You know what I mean? They'll put Bigfoot. Is this true? And then you look at the URL on the pinchy link and it says .blogspot.yomama.com. Come on, you guys. We got to be more intelligent than that. You know what I mean? We got to research things. So just know this. Just know this. It's a damn shame that we do have to separate parents from the children. That needs to be fixed. I completely agree that needs to be fixed. How can we fix that? I thought there was a glimmer of hope. Again, because and that was in not this presidency, but in the last one. I thought there was a glimmer of hope when I said, "Oh, pues this fucking guy, they hate him and shit like that." But you know what? He can't be bought. This fucking guy has too much money. Maybe, he's for the people. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know politics. I know people. I know POSs. You know what I mean? I know POSs. I know people. Trust me. You know what I mean? I can read people, body language, motives, filters. I'm good at that. It's a gift. It's a gift, right? Call it discernment of people. And you can tell when someone's just a fucking snake. Just a slithery, oily snake. You can tell when someone. Johnny Ramirez, I appreciate you. Miss Chicano Tube. Alfonso Gomez, Chicano 1. Sanho Lifer, Simon Can't Stop Via. I see you, my brother. He said, Chicago does say, Bro Obama 2024. Vote. Get out there. Vote for somebody. At least make your voice be heard. That's what I say. But imagine a mobilization of Chicanos getting together, and we got power. Oh, we got power. Oh, because there's power in numbers. We got California. If Chicanos were to mobilize together, we got California. We'll make our own political party. You know what I mean? It's probably like fucking making an S Corp or a corporation or LLC. We'll put that shit on paper. We'll make our own and we'll push it. And it's you know what? It doesn't even need to be a new political party. It's already been out there. It's been out there for decades. It's called La Raza. It's called La Raza. We don't need to be red or blue or bot. That's the name of the party. It's called La Raza. It's already out there. And we do need someone to spearhead it. Of course we do. We need some kind of organization if no one wants to organize. But here it always happens, right? Where there's absolute power, there's absolute corruption. Someone gets an ego. Someone gets greedy. Someone wants more. Appreciate you, my boy. Nino America, gracias for that super chat, my boy. I appreciate you more than you know. He said, God bless Chicano Tube to the top. Christ is Lord. That's right, my brother. And that comes with what Chicano Tube is, the foundations, Dios, it's scrolling right here above. Dios, familia y cultura. I believe everyone in the comment section, all the subscribers, and the many we're going to reach are into those three fundamentals, pillars, principles, Today we're talking about a very sensitive topic. It's the kids in cages. How do you think we can solve the problem? I want to hear your suggestions. And my bad, Nino, I thought I had this Bluetooth over here set up, and we're working on the studio. We're getting there. This is the wifey after the last live, you guys, and then I recorded 1 or 2 videos. The wifey took the MacBook Pro away from me. She said, "You got to use the Pro Max, the 2023." And so, gracias a Dios, and thank you to the wifey. We're getting Chicano Tube cracking because we're going to reach the people. We're going out there. Do your boy a favor. Hit that like and hit the comment. Don't forget to do that one time. And if you hit the share button, it shares your favorite pages on your Instagram and on your Facebook. That lets people know what conversation you're hearing, what you're listening to, right? So again, in that, I thought there was something that there was a glimmer of hope that could be resolved when that bill got proposed, but the machine came against it, and what the machine wants, the machine gets, and the machine shut it down. Oh, you're gonna throw a monkey wrench over here? Oh no, boom. And then we'll get into many, many other things, right? Because I like talking, as you can tell. I like talking about different things, conversations. But more importantly, if I'm spending my time right here, me and Mrs. Chicano Tube as well, who's the executive producer, watching, the lighting and everything she does. Shout out to her. Birthday week coming up, honey. We're in here for the message. That's period. I'm only in here to give a message. That's it. Ever since the rebranding of the channel, shit, it merits leveling up. A rebrand of the channel, I felt like merits leveling up, taking it to the next level. Conversations that are going to affect me, conversations that are going to affect you. That harassment case that's happening right now in Monterey County with Pinchy, Peter Pick and Pull, marching, or again, I thought he was a lightweight J-Cat, marching around like a Nazi, making Nazi signs, but calling all the raza that work there, which a lot of people know the Pick and Pull. It's the Pick and Pull out there on Dolan Road and Moss Landing. But they have a Salinas one. It's on Old Stage. And then they have the Moss Landing one. And there's another one. But it's a pinche compañía que tienen miles y cientos de miles de operaciones o empleados. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was on the press release from the lawyer. Those kind of topics we're going to be talking about. This guy right here, pinche Peter Pick and Pull, he's calling them wetbacks. He's calling them beaners. Y están trabajando por él. And the raza, desafortunadamente, we don't speak up. We don't say anything. We don't speak up. My brother from another mother, Cholo Trucker, Eso Chicano Tube, I appreciate you, brother. Gracias for dropping that super chat. Highly appreciate you. God bless you. God bless the familia. Everyone, brother. I hope God gives that to you 10 times. 10 times back, brother. Gracias, Cholo Trucker. There's another channel right there. If you can hit that avatar, you can subscribe over to. There's another Chicano with a highly intelligent conversation, something that could benefit the people. Something that could benefit the people, level us up in thinking. Understanding that the kids in cages is a horrible thing, but it's going to be used for politics. They're going to keep sitting them there for politics until someone comes in and says the whole problem needs to be resolved and one and done's it. We're going to keep talking about this every 4 years. And every 4 years, they're going to gaslight shit on the internet. Oh, believe me, something catastrophic is going to happen. A form of pinche, what they're going to call racismo. Whoa, oh my gosh. No one ever seen that. Fuck it. Let's riot in the streets. And then you got reporters live from these riots. Buildings burning in the background, buildings burning all the way to the ground. And they're calling it, what are they calling it? A slight disturbance. A slight disturbance. Wow. Lying straight to our faces. What are we to believe? Just know it's coming. Just know it's coming. Once I experienced some shit like that, of course I know, I said that in my last video, I know that shit exists. But not to the degree that social media says, but I know it exists. It was back in you're not going to believe me, but here, I'm going to tell the story. It was 2002. 2002? 2002, I was traveling with some local rap artists right here from the 831. Right here from the 831. They had a gig scheduled. I used to go with them. We used to go to rap concerts. Okay? Performing at rap concerts, right? Sully Cell, Be Legit, Ballers Night, all these other things, right? Well, it was a rap concert that was in Oregon. Okay, I went up there to Oregon. And, hey, all my Oregon subscribers, don't get it twisted, cabrones. Don't get it twisted. And I think there was 5 of us, right? So we took off. We took off from Seaside over here, California, because that's where that's where all 4 of them. There's 2 sets of brothers, man. Shout out to them, man. Shout out to my brothers from another mother, Felipe, Mario, man. Shout out to G7 and T. They remember these stories. They'll tell you. And we traveled to Oregon. It was a long drive. We got to Oregon. We're in a small town in Oregon. The promoter, cool dude, era como Hawaiiano dude, cool as hell, man. And he goes, man, I got the hotels right here, this and that. Let's go check out the venue, blah, 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 whatever. And then he broke off from us after like maybe an hour or two. And we'll say, well, we got to settle in, so let's get something to eat. I'm in Oregon, okay? This is a city. Should I blast the city out there? Hijo de su madre. I'm going to lose all the subscribers from the city now, okay? I was in a city. It was called Grants Pass. It was in Oregon, Grants Pass. Again, it was a hip-hop, it was a rap concert, right? They took us out there. As soon as the guy left, the promoter left, we went to a barber shop. We said, we got to go get our haircuts. Let's go. Let's go find a barber shop, get something to eat. That was the two things we had to do. Barber shop and get something to eat, right? We went to the barber shop first. We walked in the barber shop and eran puros güeros, of course, puros güeros, ojos azules, puros güeros. Y la señora turned and she looked at us and she goes, oh, we're not open. I said, what? There's people sitting inside the fucking chairs. Una señora has curls on rollers, pinche aluminio on her head. There's another kid getting his hair cut, and I think there's one person waiting. We're not open. And I said, well, it looks like you're open. I think I said it, or Felipe said it. He goes, do we got to make an appointment? Is that how we have to do it? And the güera straight looked at us and said, we're not cutting your hair. Some Martin Luther King shit back in the day. Straight up. That wasn't it. It didn't end there. Then we got out of the barbershop. We're laughing. Fuck, you guys. We're not mad or anything. We're kind of like, pues carcajeando. Imagine you're with it's kind of like if the ladies were with their girls, right? They're just going to roll with it because it's, it's a little bit of a road trip and you're being cool, right? We came out of that barbershop where there's people getting their hair done and people waiting, and they told us, we're not cutting your hair. This is 2002. And then when we got out of there, we went to a breakfast joint. And again, this is in Oregon. Shout out to everyone from Oregon. All of a sudden, everyone wants to leave from Oregon. No, this is just an isolated incident, but it's still out there. It's still out there. And we went to like a breakfast place. We're in line at a breakfast. 5 of us, 5 Chicanos. 5 Chicanos are in line to get something to eat in Oregon. Again, 2002. And when it gets our turn to get to where the pinche is like a podium where the maitre d', hostess, concierge, whatever you want to call her or him, they tell us, oh, we're not serving food right now. I said, what? There's people in there eating. There's people behind us. We got it right away. Oh, okay. 2 + 2 is 4. It didn't take long to get it. Yes, that still exists. Yes, that's still out there. Just like the harassment case that I was talking about, pinche Peter Pick and Pull. It exists. I can see that cabron strutting around, thinking he has control of the raza de gente, And hopefully he wasn't aprovechando on them. Like American Cholo, man. Shout out to American Cholo. We had a very interesting conversation. I was tapped into American Cholo. It was yesterday. And American Cholo, man, shout out to you. Shout out to Boo Boo. He had a conversation yesterday about 1099s. That makes me think, did a vato like this fucking 1099 the whole crew? Was he 1099ing people? Because, people feel a little bit inferior because a lo mejor no tienen papeles, and the guy's 1099ing them. And then when it comes back at the end of the, pinche year, these guys have to come out of pocket for taxes. But he got over on them. And if they don't like that, they can move on. Because the guy can go and pick up 10 people to replace them. Así is. It's like that sometimes with some of these pinches employers. Van a aprovechar on the raza because we don't speak up. So on Chicano too, we grow a pinche backbone and we speak up. And it's not about politics, okay? Because I told you, it's fucking politicians don't control shit. They want the gente to believe that politicians, is the Lord and Savior. And if you get behind him, everything will be all right. The politics is chess. It's checkers. These motherfuckers are playing chess that really make the world go round. Everything. So it's not about that. It's about enlightening the people, man. Bringing a good conversation. Every single Wednesday night, your boy's going to bring it. It's the 8 o'clock hour, you guys. Highly appreciate you guys. Give some shouts out. Orale, Mike's World. I see you. I see you. Thunder Loco. Orale, Mikey. Right up. Uplifting the gente. Stopping the victim mentality. We need to pull ourselves out of our own. Not blaming gavachos. Of course. Yes. I say that to the youngsters when I go to the camp. See, here's the mentality of most of the youngsters. I go, okay, if you guys didn't know, I go to the juvenile hall once a month. That's the one here in Monterey County. Okay, the juvenile hall. They still call it that. I know some people call it detention centers or detention facilities, just depending where you're at, right? Here in Salas, juvenile hall. And I go to the camp once a month. The camp is like the baby step, the step before YA. YA is the kids' prisons, even though they shut them all down already. Politics did get involved with the closing of the California Youth Authorities, and I'm very glad that they did, because I had some friends back in the 90s that went to the California Youth Authority as just level-headed individuals, and they came back monsters. Like, I didn't even recognize 2 or 3 friends of mine when they came back from the California Youth Authority. It seemed like when they came back, that the California Youth Authority just turned them into monsters, and they were just wanting to wreck shit. And so I'm glad, that they closed that down. It's more rehabilitation, even though we'll talk about this on a whole nother podcast, is, do we got to get tough on crime? Do we is the tough on crime approach the right way? Or is the enable them, provide them things, comfort them, give them safe spaces, talk with them, accept them? Or is that the right way to go about dealing with criminals? Let's just keep it real. Some people come out there and they pick it. More schools, less prisons. More schools, less prisons. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds real, real good. But the buses don't stop pulling up to the California Department of Corrections. No, they don't, ladies and gentlemen. Especially in states where crime is continually spiking. One of those states is the state we live in. Most of the people subscribed here are in CaliTube. It's in California. So it sounds good to say close the prisons down. You got to house people, gente. Basic economics, you guys. The same thing with the southern border. But the way they're doing things, they can't get enough funding over there at the southern border to make things right. Only thing that's going to make that happen is a voice strong enough that cares for the people, and a unity and a mobilization to lift our voices and say, you know what? That's not right. And if it's not right, it's an issue. We don't wait. We don't wait to correct. We correct it now. We're not moving from this thing until we get this thing done now. I don't give a shit, these pinchy politicians. You screw your vacation, screw your little fucking trip to Bora Bora, your extravagant islands, and everything that you guys do. Get pinchy trade secrets on the under, where you knew when Bitcoin was going to spike, and all of a sudden you invested in Bitcoin right before it spiked. Oh, was that a coincidence? No. You knew Zoom was going to spike, and before Zoom spiked, you invested in Zoom. And was that a coincidence? No. You knew Uber was going to spike, and before it spiked, you invested in Uber. Is that a coincidence? It's called lobbying. It's called lobbying. And lobbying is legal. Your politicians can be bought. Oh, yes, they can. They got a price. Oh, but is this? Oh, but is that? Now, I'm sure a lot of you can speak for people that maybe you personally know. You personally know this person is for the people. I'm not putting them all in a pinchy basket. No, don't get that twisted. Maybe if I came off like that, I don't want you to get that twisted. It's just, how can you go against a machine that's already established? To these upcoming artists, even though, and that's another video, we're not going to talk about it now, in Hollywood and all the evil and decrepit and sick and twisted stuff that happens behind the scenes in Hollywood. Hollywood is a machine. You want to rub elbows with that machine? Guess what the main heads of that machine, guess what they're into? They're into some Epstein Island shit. That's what they're into. Thunder Loco, I see you. Spider-Man shit in the 80s for me trained us to be fucking Spider-Man. He has to come in talking about YA. Look at pinche Spider-Man. It's Chicano too. That's why. You got a Chicano right there, Spider-Man. I know it did. It was in the 80s. They had to put a place for something, you know? And even when I did that money sign, Spider-Man, when I did that money sign Suede story, you know, the CTF Soledad, which is right here down the street where I'm at, the CTF Soledad, I believe it was South facility was built first. It was built as a YA kickout to prison back in the 50s. So the problem goes way back. Oh, some of these issues that we're talking about go way back, gente, way back. They built CTF. How do I know? I just know this. I know my county. I know my history, at least in my county. And when I did that Money Sign Suede video, you know, when I didn't know it was really going to, you know, take off like that, that people, you know, something that wasn't put out there was what facility he was on. Well, I talked to a CEO buddy. I got CEOs and people in the brass at CTF, all that, and at Salinas Valley because your boy does business. I'm out in the community. I do business now with these people. And some of them are subscribers. You know, they might not comment. They just hit the like and enjoy the show. And he told me, yeah, he was on C facility, A and B's, S and Y, and they closed D facility. And it was a whole transfer. And then when he came out there, they did what they did already one time. But unfortunately, they went there. And that's very unfortunate. And then that's when I get a lot of new subscribers came in. From that. But anyways, Spider-Man's talking about YA. Yeah, I know, man. It's a crazy place, man. I just remember all the time. Imagine Salinas, Spider-Man. Imagine Salinas, cabron. All the time they would come out, older brothers. See, the thing with Salinas is Salinas has like a generational of generations of families that are deeply embedded in the street culture, in that culture. Generations. My closest 4 or 5 friends, they're my closest. I'm talking about we spend the night at each other's houses. Me, I'm just a Chicano. I'm just a Chicano, and, you know, my parents come from Mexico. Now, half of my friends did, and half of my friends were already pochos. Their parents were already born here. They didn't know Spanish. That's another topic we'll talk about right there. Do you need to know Spanish to be considered a Mexicano? Do you need to know Spanish? We'll talk about all these things to be considered a Chicano. In Salinas, again, their uncles were in the pandillas, their brothers were paroling, they're running from placement and YAs, and then like in the beginning of the 90s, a lot of these individuals came out that hadn't touched the streets since like the 70s, and it was a serious environment, and so I see a lot of people leave and come back, and that was crazy. But again, if we're talking about more schools and less prisons, where are we going to house these cabrones? Where are we going to house these cabrones that break in our houses, you know, or that attack us, or even worser, the people that do senseless pinches mataderas? Where are we going to house them? Where are we going to house them? We got to house them somewhere. Getting Mo for the authority. Pinche getting Mo. For the authority. They closed it down and shit. Thunder Loco. Let's get it inside the game instead of knock it. There's nobody there for the raza. You know, I agree to a certain extent. I mean, a lot of people are in it for themselves. It's a motherfucker. Even YouTube, even this shit can be a motherfucker, right? You know, you get all into it, boom, all of a sudden numbers get high, shit blows up, thousands and thousands of subscribers, and you can get lost in it. I can see how people get lost, just like people get lost on their phones too. You can get lost on what's real, but what's real is what affects me and what affects you and what affects our families. And those are the conversations we're going to be having as well. Central Cal said Disney as well. Oh, Disney. Oh, shit. We'll talk about Disney as well. And the founders and all the shit that Disney's into. Okay. Well, that's a whole nother conversation. I'm glad, man. I'm glad you mentioned that. Text that to me, cabron. To the text line right here. Content idea. Talk about Disney. Alfonso Gomez in the casa. Artie Marin. Chicano YouTube. Yarda, he says. That's what's up, man. Shout out to OG, Triple OG. All right. That's right. In 89. Yeah. A lot of those guys. And those are the guys that some of those individuals I talk about in my members only. Alfonso Gomez Thunder Loco. I appreciate you. Johnny Ramirez. Was 408 originally? Oh yeah, we were. I think that happened about 19. So we were 408 area code in about 1990. I want to say 7 way. I want to say it was 7. They didn't have a sophisticated system enough for phone numbers. They couldn't recycle them. They didn't know what they know now. Now, of course, everything is sophisticated. They just got those auto recycling shit. They'll come up with 1,000 numbers for you to pick from. Back then, they were saying, we're running out of phone numbers. We're running out of phone numbers. You know what? We got to give you a new area code. You know what? Salinas right here and all this beautiful lettuce fields and all the raza, hardworking raza out there with just a lot of buses and all the, we're giving you guys a new area code. And they said in 97, it's 831. And shout out to Young Gun, the ambassador of the 831 and 408, San Joaquin. All right. I'm wrapping up, you guys. Ya me estoy carcajeando over here. It was a serious topic. I appreciate you guys. If you guys could do me a favor, one favor, por favor, is if you could comment below your solutions. I want to hear from you guys. Seriously, this makes the time very valuable, is to get feedback from the people. And when I'm going to leave this video up, please comment below your solutions. Can there be a solution? Will it ever be solved? Are people looking for solutions? Or are they just looking to keep it pushing that their man or their woman gets in office every 4 years? I'll let you think about that. Hit that like, hit that comment. First Wednesday live, every single Wednesday, 7 p.m. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. But remember what I always say. Remember what I always say. In the end, all you got is the memories.